Hey everybody, Mark from Northeast Bass Fishing. How you doing? I think I'm going to start a series, since it is fall, early winter, of some of the baits I like to throw this time of year. The first thing that I was kind of going through, and like I said in my previous video, if you saw my table right now, it's just full of baits. And what I was going through was just some of my spider jigs. And I throw the spider jig throughout the year, but I kind of tend to throw it more in the fall or even in the early spring, when I'm kind of dragging rock and things. So there's a ton of different types of spider jigs that I have, some that I don't think they make anymore, some that I've picked up over years at outdoor shows, and there is some ways you can kind of even make your own. I'll show you it with something else I don't even know if you can buy anymore, but these just little skirt things. So I'll just show you what I got here and give you a little idea if you've never thrown a spider jig, you know, on a football head before, what I'm talking about. Now I've got boxes of different types and styles and colors, and I'm trying to do this without having all these dump out on you. But you know, one of the most popular ones that I like is just the Arky brand. You can go on the Arky website. I think they got them at Tackle Warehouse, because my favorite color was always this one right here. Now they call it the salt. I call it a spider jig. They call it the salty crawling grub. Salty crawling grub. There you go, from Arky. And I forget if these are. I'm drawing a blank on if these are 4-inch or 5-inch. But most spider jigs you find are going to be that 4-inch, 5-inch. And I go back and forth depending on what the fish like. Usually I've got one of the big ones on. Like these are like 5-inchers. This is that Arky. And this is just like a black and brown. This is that Arky one. An Arky brand. And as I said, my favorite color was always this crawfish type color. I think they just called it brown and chartreuse. And actually you can see the newer one as compared to the older one, which is the older one I kind of like better. It was just a little bit of more of a faded chartreuse. It wasn't that really bright one. But just looking at this bait. Now the difference in the Arky one, you know, it's going to have that skirted head. It's going to have your hula grub type tails, but the Arky one's going to have these little legs on the side here. And I think this was the first one I ever threw, along with another one I show you that I know they don't make anymore, which is unfortunate. This is a 5-inch, I believe this is the 5-inch one. It's pretty big. But I always do well with these. I used to throw these in New Jersey when I lived there on the Newark Watershed Reservoirs, and always did well with them. And I used to throw it, and I still do, on just one of these. I believe this is also an Arky head. It's just a little 3/8 ounce jig head. It has that wire keeper, so it's not a big bulky keeper. It's almost like not even having a keeper, because a lot of these I do throw with no keeper at all. I just wish they made these in a 1/2 ounce. These are only 3/8, but I always threw them this way. And I have one on my flipping stick here. This is another color that I like a lot. That's how I have it set up on my flipping stick there. That's that purple color I like a lot. But I'll show you how you rig these up on different jig. I mean, there is just a ton of different jig heads you can use. Just regular, you know, I believe those might be 1/2 ounce, just regular jig heads. Football jig heads. These are like that ones I just showed you, that Arky style one. These are older ones that are football heads from Stamina. I don't think Stamina is now Lure Parts Online, I believe. You know, that's just a smaller of those, you know, football jig type heads. I believe these are Picassos. So whatever brand you like, whatever style you like is fine. As long as I just prefer a football, you know, style head most of the time. So I may go back and forth here. I got these Danielson ones one year that I like a lot. They're nice. Let's see if there's any other that actually have the names on them still. These Yamamoto ones. I don't know if Yamamoto still makes these. These are 1/2 ounce football heads. They may still make these. I'm not sure. They probably do. If not, someone else does. But, you know, whatever jig head you like, you know, go with it. I don't think it matters. If you got confidence in one particular style or type, I'll show you. But as far as rigging goes, they're very simple. Like the style I have on that I have on that rod there is just your typical football jig head there. I think that's a 2/0. Seems a little bigger to be a 1/0. But if I was going to throw this on here, I would just pull back that skirted head. And a lot of times on the spider jigs, they'll just kind of flop down. Of course, this one won't do it now because I'm trying to film. But I try to get that flat, hold it down so it doesn't get in the way. I always want my lighter color, my chartreuse on the bottom. So of course that that skirt thing isn't going to get out of the way. This one may have already been tied on, so if it's got a hole in it already, it'll go in easier. Let me see if it does. Yeah, this one may have already been rigged up at some point. So I can just follow the old hole. Oh man, this is a pain. I think I got it. Yeah, this one has definitely been rigged on before. But there's your football head. And like I said, I want that lighter color down. I'm just going to cinch that down. I'm sure I'll eventually find the old. And just cinch it down. And then once this gets on there, then you can kind of get that skirt top out of there, out of the way. Just kind of pull those strands out. Don't pull them too hard. You don't want to tear them off, too many of them off. You lose a couple, it's no big deal. But once I get it sit on there, they'll pop. They'll sit straight. I think. There you go. See, now once that's on there, it kind of makes those flare out, which is nice. Then you just got to kind of get them out. Just pull them out one at a time. Get them to where you want them. There you go. And see how that little skirty top there kind of holds that, kind of covers that ball head. So you can imagine this getting pulled along the bottom and those kind of, moving back and forth. And what's nice about these archy ones, they have these nice little legs on the side. But to me, that's a great color combo, crayfish imitator type, that archy brown-orange. I think they call it brown-orange. Of course, these packs are so old, they don't even have the label on them anymore. Yeah, that one I can't read. That one I can't read. Yeah. See, they call it brown chartreuse. So I guess technically it's brown chartreuse. I'm saying brown orange, but it's brown chartreuse. And there's sometimes when I'll take my my dye marker and put a little orange on there. But I mean, you can't get any more simple than that. You can see how once that's on there, that ball head kind of keeps that skirt on top, kind of flared out a little. And this will be, moving back and forth as you're dragging along the bottom. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just throwing these out and just kind of dragging them, slow reel, real slow, especially this time of year, and that water's going to be now in the 40s after these cold fronts we've had coming through. But there you go. It's as simple as that. So let me just show you a few of the different kinds that I know you can get. So like I said, the Archy salty crawling grubs, I love these. You can find those online, Tackle Warehouse, or directly from them. I mean, I've got bags and bags of these, different colors. That's like like I said, all these colors have kind of worn off over the years. I'm not sure which boxes. Let me see if I can look through these boxes and tell you which ones are the Archy ones. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to tell the differences in the brands just from in the boxes. Probably not. But I'll show you. Let me just show you the boxes quick here. This is another box of different brands. Different spider jig colors. It all depends on the water you're fishing. Like I have colors that I prefer. Like I like those purples. I like this one that I just showed you when I put on. These purples I love. I always do well with them. This Archy one I showed you, I love that one. The Archy ones are easy to tell different as far as brand goes because they've got that, those little, I don't want to get too close here, get those little legs on the side. Not all of them have them. Most of them will just have the irregular. Like that's a 4-inch, that's a small one. Like I said, I don't remember all these different companies. Some of them, they say it on the legs. So that might actually help me here. This actually kind of says it on the legs. This is the Assault, and I actually have one in the bag. Now, I can't guarantee that they make all these still. I actually have a couple in the back here, Assault. They may still make, I have to look it up online. That's a 5-inch Assault spider jig. And they actually call that the spider grub. 5-inch California spider grub, 5-inch. Now this is definitely not a 5-inch. This is Assault, the same brand, but you know, out of the pack, the box, I don't think that's a 5-incher. Let's compare them. I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, they do look like the same size. So maybe it is 5-inch. Maybe they only make 5-inch. I don't know. But I don't have a lot of the Assault as far as I know. That's an Assault brand. If it says it on the tail, I'll be able to let you guys know. Now this one has nothing on the tail, so I'm not sure who makes these. But, you know, really, as far as colors go, like here, this is an Arky one. This one, this watermelon one with that green flake is always a nice color. Very natural. Sometimes, like I said, I'll put maybe a little chartreuse on the tail. At times. Not all the time. That's just, a lot of these are just colors I saw over the years that I liked. You know, something different. This would be nice for clear water. That flake in there. Maybe a little darker water. Black one with like a gold flake. I don't know if there's another flake in there. Might be a gold. Yeah, I think it's just gold. Maybe a little green. That's a really cool one. Here's another box of various brands. There's some Arkys in there. Probably some Yamamotos. Maybe some more of those Assault ones. Like this one here is a... Yeah, that's kind of like that other one. Another nice clear water one. That green flake in there. Here's an Arky, black and blue. Black and blue. This is, I believe, a Chompers, which I'll show you in a pack in a minute. Yep, that's a Chompers. Which is a good brand too. These are some different Chompers ones. 4 and 5-inch types. That's Chompers. Nice, just like that pumpkin pepper type color. Smallies like to kill this one. So that's it. I mean, there's so many different kinds that you can throw. A few other types here, like the Yamamotos. I had to buy this pink one time with Fish in Dirty Water. Thought it'd be awesome. and like I said, I love these purples. Always do well with them. What do they call it? Purple with emerald. That's a 5-inch one from Yamamoto. And like I said, some of these, like I certainly cannot read that description anymore, but you guys get the idea. So these, you can tell how this is the old Yamamoto packs. This is one I always loved from Yamamoto, this color here. Very crayfishy-like color. It's one I throw a lot. Yeah, it's a great color spider jig right there. You imagine these dragging around the rocks. So there's the Yamamotos. I showed you the Chompers. A couple packs of those here. This is the Chompers 4-inch size here. Let's see if I can get this pack open. I don't know if this pack has ever been open. I may have to tear it open. Of course, now I'm not going to be able to hang it. And that, let's see if this is the color on here. Orange marmalade, they call this. That's the 4-inch one. So there's your 4-inch size. And I like that. I know I bought this because I love that orange in the tail. Whew. Garlic. So if you guys like, you know, the 4-inch size, if the fish are beat, you know, I usually throw a 5-inch to start. If they're not eating it, I might switch to the 4. The Chompers. I don't know if this company is still around. I'd have to look it up online. I used to buy these. I used to go to the the outdoor show in New York there, the Suffering Show, for years before COVID kind of put that on the stop for a few years. But this company, Paulie's Worms, was always there. And they always had nice spider jigs that I would pick up a few packs. You know, every year I would go. And this is their version of it. And I think they're 4. I don't know if they're 5-inch or 4-inch. I think they're 5-inch. But nice compact body. This is their black and blue. Good looking bait. I'll show you one of these rigged up. And I'll just rig it up on one of these small, you know, Arky style jig hits. I believe these are Arkies. And for these, if you ever had these wire ones, I just kind of bend that wire keeper out of the way. And I'll put it back in place after I'm done. A nice black and blue. Can't go wrong with black and blue. Just cinch that on there. I always try to make it as straight as possible. Sometimes it might be a little crooked, but I don't know if the bass really notice. Once I get that on there, I'll just put that keeper back down. And this is a very minor, a very slight keeper, call it. It's not going to really interfere. It's never interfered with my hook sets ever. But there you go. There's your rigged Paulie's worm. And they just call it a twin tail skirted grub, which is pretty much what it is. Twin tail skirted grub. Spider jig, same thing. But there you go. So cut another one rigged up for you. But the Paulie's worms are nice. They come in that black and blue. My favorite one was always this this watermelon purple flake. I'll show you that out of the pack. It's got more flake I can see. But that's a really nice natural color with a lot of nice flake in there. Woo. Good scent on there. I don't know if there was any. There's the black and blue. Oh, there's another good color they made. This green pumpkin copper flake. It's very nice. You need a great crayfish imitator color. Go drag that around the rocks on your lake. And that's kind of their. They didn't have a ton of different colors, but you don't really need a lot, I don't think, even though I've got a ton. I mean, these are like smoke. These are like 5-inch smoke ones. I don't remember. I think I got these at an outdoor show, maybe at Harrisburg years ago. Black and blue, or a smoke with blue flake, smoke with no flake. I always love that black neon, that black red flake. I always love that. So, I mean, I've got just bags of those, different brands. Black and blues. Now that might be, I have to look at this and see who makes these ones. This might actually be somebody. I don't know if this is just a no. See if they have their name on the tail. They have the name on the tail. Oh, okay. This is the gag craw now. This is one. That's just regular smoke there again too. It might be the 4-inch instead of the 5-inch. Well, that might be the gag craw too. I think I see a name on that tail. Let's check it. Yep, gag craw. So this is a nice gag craw too. Probably, now I know with the Arky one, I can't remember for sure, but the Arky brand and this gag craw brand were the two that really got me interested in beginning as a beginning angler in the 90s, throwing spider jigs. Now, I used to get these at Northern Bass Supply in New Hampshire. It's a store that doesn't exist anymore. I used to love going there, ordering online, and they sold these JDC gag craws, which was I probably even used it more than the Arkies, or at least equally. And I don't think this company, I was looking online the other night, I couldn't find it. I think they don't make these baits anymore. But luckily I've got a lot of them. As I always loved the gag craw. I always did well with it. I believe these are the old 4-inchers. Actually, this one's a 5-inch. Can't tell with this one because the pack, I mean, these are old packs. For any of you guys who have these, I mean, you know they're old. Those are old packs of baits. But I have just tons of those. A lot of those ones, a lot of those spider jigs you see in those boxes are gag craws, because that's like, you know, that's one of my go-to spider jigs. I'd have to look through these. Like, this is just a green pumpkin spider jig in a bag. As I had so many, you know, I had to put them in bags just because I couldn't fit them all. I mean, how many spider jigs can I put on the boat at once? And you know, I don't want to get into like throwing 100 different colors. This, I believe, is a peanut butter and jelly. I don't know who makes this one, if this is a gag craw or not. Yeah, this doesn't have the name of the name of the company on there, so I don't know who makes this one. This may be one of those ones I kind of got, you know, at an outdoor show. You know, I don't remember the brand, but that style, those legs are kind of far apart, you notice? I've got a few of those. And just, I would always just pick up colors that I liked. You know, the purples, anything natural. There's your watermelons. I've got so many different ones. I think that's a gag craw there. It looks like a familiar color to me. Those smokes with those different colors are good. So, I mean, you can get overwhelmed with colors for spider jigs. So you don't need to be like me and have every color known to man. But it's just a great way to fish, especially this time of year when that water's cold. Those fish are laying low. They're hanging around the rocks, and you can just drag them along the bottom. Now, another thing you can do, which I don't do that much, I've messed around with it, but I always wind up going back to these just because they're easier. You know, they're just easier. You can, I happen to have these, I got these years ago. These Bassin Man lures. If you guys have ever seen these, you know these are old school. I don't even know how old school. I don't even remember where I got these. But they're just like plastic skirts. So I did open up a pack because I haven't used them in so long. If you want to soup up a bait, you know, if you have just a regular craw you like, you can kind of just use these and make a spider jig out of it. Now, what I do with these usually is I'll cut these in half and make two out of it. So if I just take this, now I can just take any jig head I want. I'll just take one of those, take one of these, but it's just easier because I got it here. Just take one of these regular football heads, and I'll put the skirt towards the head, the top, just run that through there. Now that something like this, somebody else may be making these nowadays. You may be finding them out there. You don't have to do it. It's just kind of, you know, bait junkies like me who like to tweak baits now and then, add a little skirt to it. And it's not going to be a very obtrusive skirt. It's going to be very small, but it's just going to give you a little bit of that skirt action, which is fine. It doesn't have to be a big full skirt on top. But just taking that and adding that to whatever crawl you want. Let me see what crawls I got laying here. Let's have something just laying on the table. Oh, here we go. Here's just a little, there's a net bait. Little net bait crawl. Now if I just take this simple crawl, pop it on there, and cinch it down into that skirt, I've got a very usable spider jig. I got a craw and I got a skirt. So if you were to, of course that's a little crooked, but no big deal. But there you go. So I've turned that, just that simple craw, into like a little bit of a spider jig. So it just gives it a little more. And I doubt these exist anymore. Whoops. As a company, because you can tell how old these packs are. But there may be someone who makes things like that. I'm sure there's probably some company that just makes plastic skirts you can add to baits. But there you go. That's just another way you can do it. And I mean, this might be a little big for what I'm looking for, but you know, it's worth a try. There may be days when this is what they want. They want that big meal, because that's going to be bigger than, you know, I mean, it's not too much bigger. No, the regular spider. It's really not that much bigger, but it gives me a different claw type. But just an option to do something different, you know, to tweak a bait, to do something different. I've got some other spider jigs. Hold on, I'm going to pause this. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that, but I thought of something as I was talking about these spider jigs, and I thought I was finished with the video, and then I remembered there's another brand type that I use that's a really good one, and I do use it very well. This is the Gets It brand. Now this is just their 3/8. I usually get the 3/8 ounce. This is their 3/8 ounce spider, and this is the brown and chartreuse color. And I know I've done a video on these before, so if you look through the videos I have, there is a video I did on these. This is just the brown crawl color, just a few. I think these are newer. I think they come in these bags. You know, I guess you can tell that I like this brown and chartreuse one, but that's what I have. But they do have a few different colors. And this is more of a finessey football head spider jig to me, but it's pre-rigged. Now, I don't want to spill all these out, but these come pre-rigged, so you don't have to, you know, find the football head you want, or they have. I'll pull one out here for you. I believe this is a 3/8. They already come rigged, and I think they even have these at Walmart. That's a 3/8 ounce football head, no weed guard of any kind. And you've got your Gets It body and then your skirt. And if you go on the Gets It website, you'll see these. They may have them on the big, you know, Tackle Warehouse and places like that. But I know I know I've seen these at Walmart. But this is a nice, easy way to do it if you don't want to have to rig anything up. You know, they got some nice colors. This is I believe that 1/4 ounce size. You can see that smaller head. I think they come in a 1/4 and a 3/8. I tend to stick with the 3/8. I just want a little, you know, bigger head. So I tend to throw these a little deeper. But they have a few different colors. They also make them with this. I don't know if they still do. I do have some with this kind of, I don't know what you'd call that head, but it's a different type of head. It's not a football head. So I do have some with that head. Now that may be an old head they used to use. I don't know if they use it anymore. Another bait that I got, I believe, the first time at Northern Bass Supply, and then started buying them. But as I said, here's a watermelon one. I tend to stick with this 3/8 ounce size. I will use these on a bait caster, but I tend to throw these smaller ones on a spinning rod. Little lighter line, maybe 10-pound fluoro. But that's another option for you. If you don't want to have to do any rigging, you want to just get a spider jig and throw it. This Gets It one is a good option for you. And I have done another video on these, so you can check it out. You'll probably get a better explanation than I'm giving you now. I'm just doing a quick one. But that's it, guys. Especially this time of year, that fall, early winter fishing, I really go to that spider jig more than I do in the spring and the summer. Early spring, I'll throw it sometimes, but usually then I'm throwing like hair jigs and things like that. In the summer, I'm kind of flipping and pitching jigs, so I'm not really using the spider jig as much. Every now and then I'll throw it on and give it a try. But to me, this is more of a fall type bait. That spider jig. And you know, you can use as big a head as you know. I mean, I'll put these on a 3/4 ounce. I don't usually go to a full ounce. 3/8. I'm sorry, 1/2 ounce and 3/4 is what I'll use the most. You'll see. It depends. Also depends on where I'm fishing. You know how gnarly the rocks are. You know, if I'm getting hung up with a 3/8 every cast and losing a ton of them, I might just say I got to go to a smaller football head. So I'm not, I don't keep losing all my baits. You just got to see. You know, if you're on a lake that has a lot of rock as compared to just scattered rock. But it's really a great way to fish this time of year. Really a great way to fish. Because it's something you can do slow. You got to force yourself to just drag it along the bottom. I may give it a pop every now and then just to see if they like that. But most of the time I find it's just kind of dragging along, maybe slow rolling it along the bottom, and your rod will just load up. It'll just load up. So that's it, guys. Like I said, there's a ton of different kinds you can get. I wish they still made these gag crawls because I love them. But I think I'm stocked up pretty good for the future. I don't know if they still make this Assault brand, but I know you can still get the Arky ones. You can get the Yamamoto ones still. So there's definitely still options out there with the chompers. I believe they still make them, and like I said, the Yamamotos will be around forever, so you can always get those. And there's a ton of different colors, But I stick to these natural colors. As I said, a few times already, this is my favorite one, probably right here. This one and that purple one I got on. I always seem to do well with that purple one. What that looks like to them in the bottom, I have no idea. Something purple. But that natural coral is a good one too, that brown and chartreuse. That's a great one. But that's it. So if you guys have any questions on spider jigs or how to throw them, what brand to try, I would stick, look at what you can get out there. Try one of these Arky ones, rig them up and throw them around, see how you do. If you want to go something smaller, if you're more of a spinning reel guy, these Gitsits are a good option, and they come pre-rigged. You don't have to worry about rigging anything. So that's it. If you guys have any questions regarding this style of fishing, let me know, and I'll get back to you on the comments. I'll put whatever brands are still around. I'll put links to if you want to search for them and check them out. But it's definitely a cool way to fish, and I love jig fishing anyway. So to me, it's just like, it's just really throwing a jig. So, and I love doing that. So there you go. All right. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. See you soon on YouTube. Mark out.